Welcome to Waiting Tables Podcast, sponsored by Bruscato Law, where we share stories of people in our community who live to serve others.
Welcome to the Waiting Tables Podcast, Misty.
I like this.
Yeah.
This is nice. I like the setup.
So I know a little bit about you, but I mean, for everybody else listening, can you give us a little background on you?
Little background about me. Well, I grew up in the area, not too far from your wife. In fact, Misti and I were friends in school. The rural West Monroe Luna community. Went to Woodlawn. Went to college. Went to West Washita. I went to college at Louisiana Tech. Majored in human resource management, and realized that whenever I graduated in human resource management, I had worked since I was 15. I was working for Riverwood International at the time. Couldn't get a job in that because they wanted someone with experience. I was like, well, how do I get experience if you won't hire me? So I ended up leaving out of tech, and I got my very first job out of state with Xerox Corporation. That was like my big girl job. And did that for about a year and a half, which was so much fun. I mean, I've recommended it to both my boys. It's nice to move away from home and live for a little bit. All my friends were getting married. I was one of the last ones to get married out of my group. And going over there, it was just, it was a lot of fun stuff to do. We went to dinner somewhere different, just about every single, you didn't have to go to the same restaurant more than once. I mean, there's so many things to go see in Dallas. So it was a good experience. Got a job in pharmaceuticals, came back home, had met my husband on a blind date. We were married within a year. Had my first child a year later, had my second child the next year later. And
so tell me about this blind date business. I mean,
Yeah.
how's that
well,
even happen?
as I said, I was the last one of most of my friend group to get married, and I had moved off to Dallas and was loving life. And my best friend, since we were in high school, she said, I want you to move back home. And I said, no, I'm happy right where I am. Everybody's married. Y'all are all married. I'm loving life. And she set me up on a blind date with Hardeman. And we met and just clicked. I don't know. I mean, it wasn't like sparks or anything because we were both older, but it was just like we clicked. We'd go to the restaurants. Every time we go out to eat, we wanted to order the exact same thing. We liked the same stuff. I mean, there was a lot of stuff that we had in common. And it was automatically comfortable. And we had a long distance relationship for about 6 months, and I was working for Xerox. I'd gotten an interview with a pharmaceutical company, and I could have taken the job in Dallas or I could have taken it in Monroe. And I said, I'm going to roll the dice. We're going to move back to Monroe. Let's see how that works. And we were married less than a year later.
Wow. So what pharmaceutical company?
Worked for AstraZeneca.
Okay, I think I was aware of that.
Yeah.
I've got a friend of mine. In fact, I think he's still involved with maybe a parent company of AstraZeneca, but Stephen Wall.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, so Stephen Wall and I are really good friends.
Me some.
Yeah.
I trained Stephen Wall.
Really?
Yes. I felt like his big sister there for a little bit. Stephen he's so great. Yeah, he is with AstraZeneca. I think they're in Virginia now.
Are they? Well, they were in DC.
Yes, like right outside. So I think that
Silver. What's that town called? Silver Town.
I don't know. Every time I go up there, he tells me you got to come see me.
Silver City or Silver Town or something like that. I don't know.
Oh, we're gonna have to tell him.
It's like a suburb of DC.
We're gonna have to tell him we talked about him today. Is he tune in?
Well, I don't know. We need to send him a link.
We'll have to send him a
link.
Yes, Stephen is so awesome. He's just a great guy, and he had gone on a date with Lauren, who's now his wife. Lauren's dad was our veterinarian. So I was like, oh my gosh, great family. And I could see some resemblances a little bit with Bill and Stephen. I mean, I thought that would be a great connection.
Father, son-in-law relationship.
Yeah, both runners, both like super intellectual, great people, just meets the public well, super friendly. And they did that. I don't think that they dated for that long either. I think they had like a good connection.
So I grew up working in Gino's restaurant. And,
okay.
Yeah,
love Gino's.
So, and like my grandfather started or whatever, and my grandparents did. And when I was in high school and college, Stephen and Lauren dated at Gino's.
Okay.
And so I would see
Was that
them.
their first date spot?
I mean, I don't know if it was their first date, but they were there like once a week. I mean, it was like they were regulars,
Yeah.
you know, and so I got to know them extremely well basically taking care of them as their in-house waiter or whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
And then I went off to law school, and then when I came back, we started just hanging out all the time. Like it was kind of like,
Did he go like? Did you go to his guitar room?
Oh yeah, you talking about his little
Yeah, the little
shed thing that he had
his
set
he
up.
shed.
Yeah, yeah, no, I remember that.
Yeah.
They lived over there on Oak.
Mm-hmm. They did. They did.
Did you ever go to a party there?
I did. We went to a party there, and I had heard Stephen used to play in a band too. Remembered all kinds of things about Stephen now.
Yeah.
But he used to play in a band. We did go to a party over there, and we were so sad when they moved. But I think it was a great thing for both of them. They've been great.
He had to. I mean, it's like dream job. Like
he was he was so awesome. I mean, literally, I was his first ride along, so he was like attached at my hip whenever he first started, because that's how we trained people in pharma. And he just picked up everything so fast and was just such a great rep. I knew that he would go far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like turns around now. He's like in their marketing.
Yeah, like he's
corporate.
moved up. He's moved up quite a few times. He's up with the big dogs now.
Yeah, like
so happy.
He's
for
like
him.
the people that are like like placing ads on the.
They're the people,
network news.
Yeah. Like he's big and important, and people like you want to see folks like Stephen move up like that. He's very much deserving. He'll do a great job.
So what happened after AstraZeneca?
After AstraZeneca, so that's whenever the world changed with pharmaceuticals. So we were talking about earlier. I can remember the day whenever I used to have to bring golf balls in to see doctors, and they were like, "Oh, let's go play a round of golf." I don't golf, but it changed so much. It seemed like within a matter of 5 years, it went from you could buy doctors big berthas and fishing rods and all this stuff, which really was not a great thing, to the point that you could not even leave a pad or a pen. And that was one of the things that we did like to do. Anything you could bring value added to a physician's office, we would do. Let's see, some of the stuff that I would do is a picture of a heart. If you're trying to explain something to a patient that had congestive heart failure, it's a good visual. We were able to leave all these tools behind. Yeah,
like something like this.
Like your spine. That bottom part of mine's not feeling too good today.
We got a prop now.
There you go. Got a prop. Like it. We were able to leave stuff behind, and we were able to take the physicians, and I would always try to take their spouse to dinner also, because being a female in the industry, I just thought that was considerate. And then the doctor had worked all day. Usually their day started at 7, because that was back in the day where they did rounds. They did rounds before clinic and usually after clinic. So they didn't get to see their
rounds
spouse.
is like where the doctor goes around the hospital.
It was
and
before
sees all his patients.
It was before hospitalists. Maybe aging myself a little bit. But literally, you had physicians that would go do rounds on their patients because there weren't as many hospitalists in the hospital. And by the time they were done with the day, first off, they didn't want to go to dinner and hear a sales pitch.
Yeah.
And if they did go to dinner to hear a sales pitch, it was nice to bring their spouse. Well, they cut out all of that too in pharma. So it really made it hard for us to do our job. It went from being very rewarding, where I thought that I was a value added, I was bringing something to the office, to kind of felt like it became more like a UPS. You're just going to drop off some samples. So I was traveling a ton. My husband was traveling a ton. At this point, we had 2 young kids. And I said, okay, let's see what it would be like just to live off one income, and let's see how that works. So I quit pharma. It was in my 10th year, and decided I was going to stay at home with the boys. Probably bad timing, because it was after both of them started to go back to school. And Misty got bored. So I ended up volunteering for everything at the school, from PTO to American Cancer Society, fundraisers, all this stuff. And my husband's like, you were working basically 40 hours a week with no pay. But I had a friend that Holly Boyd was doing the St. Jude Dream Home. And she said, I think you would be really good as a designer for the St. Jude Dream Home. She said, it's my last year to do it. Come meet the contractor, see if you like it. And we need to grow our social media presence. And then also you do all the design for the home, like everything on the inside. So I said, okay, why not? So I did that. Was amazing. Awesome experience. I did 5 St. Jude Dream Homes as the lead designer.
Oh, wow.
Started my own business from that, and I did my own interior decorating and design business. So I could help design everything from your cabinet layout to your floor plan to what sofas you were going to put in there.
So basically, I just need to make sure you don't get my wife's cell phone
We
number.
can have
and
so much fun. Could have so much fun. I've got to slow down though because I tend to stay busy. I'm barely able to get my own house finished. We just did our 5th remodel. Hardeman and I have been married for 26 years, and we just remodeled our 5th house. And both of my boys are like, "Mom, we're done. We're not doing this anymore. I'm tired of moving you." So I think we're staying put with this one.
Well, I've not been in your home since it's been remodeled, but I had been in it before that. And
Yeah, we talked about that.
and I drive by it like every day.
You'll
I
have
know
to
where-
stop
yeah.
in.
But it's a beautiful. It looks beautiful. I mean,
We changed.
congratulations. I mean,
Thank
it's
you.
nice.
We changed so much of it, but I really do. I love the construction process. I've helped with homes from the ground up and then doing the remodel. And the remodel is absolutely more of a challenge, but man, it's so rewarding to go kind of look at the before and after. It's like a makeover, basically, is what it is. So it's great. I think in this one we got everything we need. It's not too big. We can lock off bedrooms because we're empty nesters now. But whenever grandkids come back, we can house everybody. We had the entire family at the house for Christmas this year, and it was great.
How'd you do with the ice storm?
We were actually out of town during the ice storm. We had gotten tickets to see the Eagles at the Sphere and had flown out. I had a Regents meeting in Baton Rouge on that Monday. And I said, well, that's fine. We'll fly out of New Orleans. So my younger son and I, he works for the Attorney General in Baton Rouge. We decided we're in Baton Rouge anyway. We'll fly out of New Orleans and I can fly back in on Sunday and make my meeting. So we were good. But my husband and older son were flying out of Monroe and Dallas. And we got to Vegas and I was like, y'all are getting home. There's no way. I mean, we were watching the storm on the Weather Channel and I mean, it was just so bad.
Wow.
So they ended up getting on the Southwest flight with us. We got the last flight out of Vegas and made it to New Orleans and then up to Baton Rouge where we had to sit for 3 days. And we have a whole house generator, thankfully. So we had neighbors that were staying at our house. We're like, just go in there, check on everything, take a shower, whatever you have to do.
Yeah.
So bad though. Gosh, when I came home, it was unbelievable, all the tree damage and things. How did you guys fare?
Very fortunate. My father-in-law, I think you know.
Yes,
Martin,
I know
right?
Mr. Martin.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great.
Well, he is great, and he is like an amazing electrician or electrical contractor or whatever whatever you want to whatever I don't know what he calls himself, but he knows a lot about a lot of things.
He does,
including that his daughter probably would have been mad at me if we didn't have a generator.
That's right.
At our house.
So you did have a
this
generator.
happened. So he actually brought us a diesel generator that was like on a trailer, but it was big enough to power everything.
Oh, good.
And I'm just tell you, that man has probably saved my marriage,
Yes, I do
because
know.
we would have been out for like 6 days.
Were y'all out? Was it out that long?
We were, so we went to sleep, I think it was Saturday night. And I know it was different for everybody.
Everybody had a different timeline. So you were one of the last ones on.
So Saturday night we went to sleep. We woke up Saturday morning. I was like, it feels a little chilly in here. And I looked when I look up from bed, I see the alarm panel and the alarm panel's lit. So I'm thinking, okay, well, we didn't lose power, I guess.
Yeah.
And in the middle of the night, we heard a big, huge limb like crack and land in the backyard. So that I remember that woke us up, and I think I remember the lights being on whenever that happened. And so I see the alarms lit, and I'm like, okay, well, we're good. And then I get up, I look at my phone. I don't notice that it wasn't charging, and then I walk around the house a little bit.
Because your alarm's on a battery, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. So that was the thing. Like my alarm's on the backup battery.
Yeah.
So it didn't occur to me that the alarm would still be on.
Well, plus you're asleep at the time. You're not thinking.
And so I go walk around, I go in the kitchen, and I'm like, trying to turn the lights on. It's like, we don't have power. And so I go turn that generator on.
Yeah.
And I mean,
So
never
the generator
missed a
was
beat.
already there.
Yes.
Did he bring it like right before the storm hit, or did?
So he brought it Friday afternoon, and he had his guys wired up.
That's a
and
good man.
Integrated. And he actually I've got a switch
Yeah.
that he built for me so that, like, if this ever happens again, like, all he's got to do is just
Yeah.
plug it in and good to go.
Yeah.
And, he's an incredible man. I mean, like, he took care of us.
You're going to take care of baby girl.
Yeah, he took care of baby girl,
And you too.
and baby son-in-law.
Yep. Actually, grandbabies too. They probably rank number one.
Yeah, you're probably right about that.
Yep. My dad's pretty handy too. I don't know what I would do without dad around. I have my tool bag. Hardeman would probably fuss me telling on him, but my tool bag has much more stuff in it than his does.
Yeah, that's kind of how I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say that Cassie has a handiness to her either, but
I think it was working in houses too. I mean, like on all those St. Jude Dream Homes, it was volunteer labor. So not only did I design it, but I had to go like shake people down for donations of, oh gosh, plumbing fixtures, windows, roofing shingles, tile. I mean, anything that was a cool like design aspect. Like whenever Rustic used to be open and
on Fifth
Ruston,
Street?
in Ruston.
Okay.
They would go tear down old buildings and they would salvage the beams and just old wood and cool stuff like that. So I would go pick all that stuff and try to get it donated or as low of a price as possible. In my last home, we were almost all donation.
Wow.
At year 5. But I would try to promote them.
That's
too.
incredible.
Yes. It was very rewarding. But since you're dealing with volunteer labor, you can't fuss when things aren't exactly on time. So I have my own tool bag. There were some times I had to go tinker with stuff. I did not do anything electrical or plumbing wise, but
So I bought this switch for some lights that are in our backyard that I've wanted to have like on like a Wi-Fi switch where you can schedule it on and off and stuff. And I bought it and I got it in the Amazon or whatever. And so I was like, I bet I can do the switch, And so
how did that work? You didn't shock yourself.
So-
You're not one of those guys on a reel, are you?
So after dinner last night, Cassie's like, she's like, well, I want to go, let's see if we can find a show or something. I said, well, I'm going to try to mess with the switch. She's like, what? I was like, just don't worry about it. Just go do what you're going to do.
Call my dad first.
Yeah, no, just go do what you're going to do. I got this. So I go get the screwdriver and the pliers and all the things that I knew that you would need to accomplish this task.
Yes.
And I get the switch plate off and unscrew the screws, and I pull the switch.
Did you turn the power off to that?
Well, this light was off.
I see where you're going. Did somebody video this?
And so I'm like trying to. It's like the wire. Like you can either put it like screw the wire into the switch, or you can like
a little crimper.
put it into the back of the switch.
Yeah.
Well, the way this one's installed, it was in the back of the switch.
Okay.
And so I'm like trying to pull the thing out of the switch, and it's like in there good, And all of a sudden there's like this big huge spark, and Cassie's like sitting on the couch, but she could see me, and she's like, "You're being an idiot." Call my dad.
I was about to say, did she call her dad? What did he say when he got over there to fix it?
He said, "John, you don't see me trying to practice law, do you?" Like,
That's awesome.
Like, well, but and he was like, I wouldn't be mad at you if you were for sure not going to kill yourself.
Or a dog groomer or something.
If you're for sure not going to kill yourself, fine. You can give it a shot. Give it the old college try. But you're dealing with a live wire right there. Let's don't do that.
Oh, gracious. Yeah, you live and learn.
We lived.
Yeah, there was some reel that was the other day with some guys that were checking something, and they were going to strip the wire with their teeth.
Oh my gosh.
That did not end up.
Probably didn't go how they wanted it.
Not at all. Not at all. It was bad. It's bad.
Well, so you brought us through the St. Jude thing. I'm
Yeah.
sorry I keep interrupting.
Oh gosh. Okay. So after St. Jude, that's whenever I started my own business. I had my own decorating and design business. Enter Jeff Landry winning Attorney General. And both of my boys were at the age that they were playing sports and soccer. And it was kind of like, a chaotic schedule because you're trying to build a house and be at the soccer field and somebody calls you and they're like, paint's the wrong color. Of course, I'm not going to leave the soccer field. It's like 6 o'clock to go over there and fix it. So Jeff had gotten Attorney General, and I was realizing that the construction, with the amount of time that I wanted to be there, because I'm one of those type people. If you do call me at 6 or 9, and your paint color's wrong, I want to go. But I mean, that's not always feasible, and with young kids, it really wasn't feasible. And there was it was a lot of it was taking up a lot of the time with family. And Jeff had gotten the job with Attorney General. He said, "Hey, I need some help putting together outreach." So his outreach group was doing everything from training for cyber crimes, elder fraud, teaching kids how to use cell phones responsibly, as well as being his person whenever he couldn't be in an area. Much like your legislators have now, their representatives that they have, your legislative representative. That's what he was trying to build at the AG's office. And he said, I would love for you to come in, use your sales background, and help me build this up. So worked with the team and got a regional representative in every area. We had it rolling. We were doing anti-smoking talks, which I transferred over to anti-vaping talks. The kids were not at the time smoking. They were all vaping, and it was rampant. And we did a lot of educational stuff with that. And I did that for, I guess, 2.5 years, just helping get that program up and running. And St. Francis, I had the background in pharmaceuticals. St. Francis was looking for a physician liaison. And I had a friend that used to be a competitor, Pfizer rep, that called and just kind of gave me an offer I couldn't refuse to come back over and work with the doctors. So I did that work at St. Francis as their physician liaison and help and drive business to St. Francis for, I think that was right at 3.5 years, and it was right smack dab in the middle of COVID. So one of the things that I did with the AG's office was any of the disaster relief, floods, things like that, I would go work with GOSEP, make sure that we could tell citizens where to go get help, how to get tents brought in, how to utilize the National Guard and GOSEP to get problem solved. And during COVID, I was able to use that little nugget at St. Francis because we set up all the COVID testing units, tents, getting generators in, so many things. But it's like every little station in my crazy, crooked career path from one thing to the next has kind of built. I mean, there's not been a single thing that I've done that I have not used, not one. And it's entered right on into what I'm doing now with running for Congress. I feel like I truly can be a problem solver and address things and see things. I've worked in just about every aspect of the things that are important for Northeast Louisiana, which are agriculture, education, healthcare, and protecting our trades. We have Meta coming in. We really need some more tradesmen, and working with subs. They have it tough, man. I'm sure Martin can tell you. It's hard to find folks that come in and can work and do a good job, and that you don't have to retrain when they get out of school, and then have them stay. Once they're really good, they get offers elsewhere, and they're good offers. So we need to be able to keep our guys here, and girls. I mean, there's all kinds of people that go into trades.
I've had a lot of conversations with Martin about his guys. I think a lot of electricians or tradesmen go through a phase, whether they work for a firm or they, strike out on their own. At some point, they have a desire to strike out on their own.
Yeah.
And then they go through that. They weigh the pros and cons of that.
Yeah.
And, it's difficult. I mean, you factor in insurance overhead. You got, how are you going to get your business? You got to have a stream of business. And
being able to buy your products in bulk versus just for one job at a time. You've been, yeah, there's a lot of things to consider there. And that's something. Now I'm the governor appointed me over Regents, so I'm over all of higher ed. And so I serve as the chairwoman over all of higher ed. And so there's a lot of conversations that we've had in education about what can we add to education. I mean, I'm sure you listen to podcasts, you do podcasts. I mean, some of the commentary that's been said in probably the last 5 years is, why do I need a college degree? Why do I need that? I could just go learn from somebody else or be an influencer. Sometimes it's pie in the sky thought. But how can education meet the next generation where they are versus us trying to bring them in to our world? And a lot of it is linking together the why. I was always a kid that wanted to know why. You could tell me no, but I just, may not always accept that. I want to know the no, but. I mean, I wasn't rebellious, but it's just like, give me a reason. Why? And I think we need to give kids a reason why again.
And then all this AI stuff is kind of,
that's mind blowing.
it's like,
Yeah.
well, but the why thing is probably harder to answer.
You need to link
everybody's
in.
talking about like, well, all job, like you've got people like Elon Musk saying, and he may be right, but saying that like basically the robots are going to take everybody's job, that we're going to need some sort of a universal income for everybody, so that because nobody's going to work anymore.
Is it gonna take over your that brings up a very good point. Is it gonna take over your service industry? I mean, there's something about a human touch. When you're calling, say your phone has something wrong, do you want to talk to a chat bot or a person?
Well, I think the chatbots have drastically improved.
They have gotten better. They do. They have.
And so, to your point, yeah, I would rather talk to a person, but also I want it to be correct.
Yes.
So there's some fallibility there.
There is. That's why we need to do better training in college. We don't train on customer service either. I mean, there's just so much in education that we're missing out on that we need to go back to. And one of the things that we're looking at right now with education is linking in K-12. When is the sweet spot to reach a kid to figure out what do you want to be when you grow up? Because again, somebody that wants to know the why. I'm going to college. I have to go through 12th grade, and then I'm going to K-12. I have to graduate, and then I have to go on to college. Do we ever stop to try to figure out what it would be like if you actually encouraged a kid along a path versus just saying you have to graduate, take all these tests, and then go to school again and graduate? We haven't. I mean, that's one of the things as chairwoman, I've asked to go tour every single campus because I was put into this role.
Campus meaning what?
Like school, like colleges. I've toured just about every college in the state.
Okay.
I've still got a few more to go. But that's one of the things that I wanted to do to just see what a day in the life looked like. It's been a while since I graduated college. And I want to talk to the students. And I learn more in the student panels than I do with anything else that in the big building. Because the kids are your customer and they will tell you, what they need. And some of the feedback that we've gotten is the sweet spot to reach a kid is between the ages of 6th grade and 8th grade. Because if you think about it, once you get into high school, you're not focused on what do I want to be when I grow up until you hit your junior year and you have to declare a major or you have to decide what am I going to go to college for. Some kids, they're blessed to have families that help them along the way. I mean, Hardeman and I could see the gifts of both of our boys and kind of help direct them without telling them this is what you need to do. He gives everybody's bent a certain way. I believe that we're all put here for a purpose and you got to find it. But at least we can help them understand. My youngest child is not a mathematician. So I'm like, you are not going into engineering. This is probably not going to be something unless you're really stubborn and study a lot. His gift is more, he loves to read. He loves history. He loves reason, argument. He's going into law. So he's very methodical in his thinking, but not all kids have that in the home to try to see, okay, this could be something that you're really good at. Why don't you look at it? And we need to do that in schools more.
So you think, let me see if I can pinpoint what you're saying. So do you think that the schools from the ages of 6th to 8th grade need to be doing assessments for interest and capability.
I think there should be a class. I mean, we've discussed it. I think that there should be some sort of there's already a class. You're going.
I'm gonna
have
look
to
up something right now.
Look
but
up. There's a class in Louisiana that you have to take, and I think it's in 8th grade, and it's like career development or something along those lines. Maybe 8th or 9th grade. But some of the students that I've talked to about it said that's too late, and it's not necessarily how it's tailored right now is not necessarily pertinent. It didn't ring any bells for them.
Mm-hmm. There's this. I'm sorry. Like I'm going off this.
Yeah.
I just went like my mind just went somewhere, and I was like, "This is exactly what we need to be talking about."
My mind goes all kinds of places.
It's like a chart, and I just dealt with this.
Journey to careers. Is that what you're looking for?
Is that what it is? Is that
for
one of the
eighth
Louisiana?
grade? Yeah,
8th grade.
Workplace behavior and professionalism, how to build a resume, interview basics,
Yeah.
explore different career paths.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just 8th grade. Is it continuous? I should know this, but I'm to higher ed, so I need to ask these questions. Is there like a follow-up class the next year?
I don't think I'm gonna find it.
What you looking for?
I'm looking for this. It's like a graph, a graphical thing, and it shows you. It's like things that you are interested in and skilled at, but you can't make money from, or hobbies.
Okay.
Things that you're interested in, skilled at, and can make money are, career. Things that you're not interested in but good at could be anyway. And it's like what you're looking for. Like it's kind of like
Some sort of assessment that you could then tailor. It's not just another curriculum that is going to drone on and on at a student where it's just another class I have to take. How can you make it pertinent and tailored to the student by maybe, and that's something with AI. I mean, they're catching kids up now in K-12. If you're behind on your reading, they can give you an iPad and have AI like be your own tutor. So the kid's still in class, and the one that's a little bit behind is being caught up, while the ones that are advanced, they're still rocking along. It helps the teacher out too, and then it helps really even everybody out. Somebody just made it. I was not a math kid, not my favorite thing. I would have sat there with my AI device the whole time in algebra to catch me up, because these people in the front may have gotten it, but I need to hear it about 3 more times.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of kids like that. Just some things click and some things don't.
And sometimes some things, like maybe like the essential things, like you gotta sit there until they click.
That's right.
You gotta figure it out. Like this isn't like we get to move on from this. Like you gotta figure out algebra 2. I know it sucks, but
you have to, because it's a building block too. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you miss something, it's hard. The rest of all your maths are going to be a little bit more difficult because you missed that.
If you want to be in business,
very important component.
If you want to get a business degree, you're going to have to take an economics course that requires you to understand algebra 2.
Yeah. So see, I loved econ. Did not like algebra.
Do you like macro or micro? So the macro is like where they study like the populations and the big.
No, I liked the bell charts and the curves and all. I liked the statistics of it and supply. Let's see, what all did I?
And then micro is like all about price and elasticity of price and competing goods.
I liked that one. That's the one that I liked better because I could visualize it. I could see it. Mm-hmm. I liked geometry because I could visualize it and I could see it. I did not like algebra.
Yeah, algebra 2 sucks. I don't care who you are. It's just not fun.
My oldest child liked algebra. I did not like algebra. He likes annuities and all that stuff too, though. I didn't like those either.
So with the higher ed piece, I'm gonna throw this out there. I'd recently heard a statistic, and I think I was listening to a podcast that like 30 years ago, kids at home, like 70% of parents raising kids were like whenever you grow up, you're going to be in college. Like you're getting
Yeah.
a college degree, whether they had a college degree or not. Like when you grow up,
I was told that.
I was told that.
Yeah.
I was told that. It was
Yeah.
like it was never a question that I was going to college. And then, but now it's more like 30% of households are raising their children to believe that whenever you grow up, you're going to be a college student. Like this is for sure happening. And so that's almost 100%, 50% drop in the number of people that are being raised to be told they're going to college.
What are they saying they're telling them to do?
Well, it's just not, everybody has this perception that college isn't an essential component of success in life. And college is not for everybody. And, and maybe some of that is the trades, but I look at trades like I look at my father-in-law. He's an electrician.
They knock it out of the park.
I mean, the dude he is a very smart man.
Very smart man.
He is not like, if he wanted to go to college, he'd go to college right now and, be just fine. And he'd get through it. And probably with straight A's. But he doesn't need to go to college because he has a trade and
That's
he has,
right.
a company and he has a business and he's built this business that, takes care of his family. But none of that happened overnight, but he went through the apprenticeship program. And it's like at the time, I think it was a 4-year deal.
Probably.
Like-
Yeah, it takes a while to get your journeyman's license.
There was a classroom component and a hands-on apprenticeship component to it. And I think it's still that way, but it might be a 3-year process.
Yeah,
now.
it's still longer. It and plumbing, they're not short. But yeah, see, that's where you need to introduce those jobs to kids sooner, because it's nice to be able to have a class that not only tells you, okay, this is what you may be gifted in, but what is that life going to look like? Kind of like what you were looking for on your phone. How much do you make? What is your day-to-day going to look like? For physicians, when I was recruiting physicians, it was always good to go talk to the students whenever they were trying to pick what specialty they wanted to go into. Because if you're a dermatologist, you don't have a lot of call. You're an orthopedic surgeon, you're going to have a lot of call. And when you come out of school, you're going to be low man on the totem pole, and you're going to have to take all the crap weekends and things like that. But you talk to them about jobs. What is your life going to look like?
And by call, what you're saying is like being available to assess or treat someone.
Well, for the hospital. So if you're going to be on for the ER for a hospital call, because I know St. Francis, they have one orthopedic surgeon that's there. So somebody has to cover call for what comes in to the hospital 24/7. Somebody's got to be able to come in and, there's there's a car wreck, there's fractures, there's hip fractures, those can't sit and wait. So they need to have somebody that's there on call. So they work with orthopedic clinic, other orthos for a call schedule. And it can be brutal. It could be your 4th of July weekend. I mean, it could be all your weekends. It's just one of those things to consider when you're going to be a physician. You know that going in.
Well, it's interesting.
Yeah. It's
a different thing that probably not everybody thinks about. you know?
If you're a female, dermatology, that's great because you're going to have mostly clinic hours. So when you have kids, then you're going to be, whatever your clinic is. It's just a different way to think about what is my life going to look like here. And I love these 3 different fields, but which ones would be best for me with, if I'm going to be having kids or if I'm going to be the breadwinner, and, it's just different things to consider to try to start getting students to think about that earlier could really help their career path all the way through. And another thing we're trying to do is link in from the higher ed side. So once you are a college student, how do we help you get a job? And making colleges regionally relevant. So for instance, Meta, they need to come to our colleges up here and say, this is what we're looking at. Work with the Career Center. I never went to the Career Center in college. I thought I always had a job through college. So I said, that's where you go for like babysitting and dog walking jobs. You don't think about, okay, this could be a great tool that could help me build my resume, figure out what I want to do, get an internship, get a paid internship, and what is Meta looking for, and how do I meet Meta? But for that to truly be a hub for all of our for you. If you wanted a law clerk, hey, go to the college. I mean, there's some kids that are interested in pre-law. Then we go find a law clerk here. We really could make colleges a better resource for business also.
Well, and to that point, there is a program that we've tapped into. I wish I could tell you the name of the program. It's but we had I say tapped into. There was somebody that promoted it to me.
Yeah.
Kelly Cole, who works at ULM, called me up and said, "Hey, I'm doing this internship program. It's a summer long program, X number of weeks, and we've got candidates that are interested in working in various different career businesses, and we've got several that are interested in law. They're high school kids. They can work up to 20 hours a week. So,
are they 18 yet? That's another question. Okay.
Cool. Well, one of them was.
Okay. Did you have to sign like a waiver?
The mother, the parents did.
Yeah.
The parents, like authorized or whatever.
Yeah.
I dealt with the parents a bit.
Yeah.
Which was fun. And we had a meeting like actually in this room, and I said, this is and they were paid by the state. I assume the state. There was some kind of grant that was involved to fund their salary during the period of time that they worked here, and they were high school students. And I think they had a great time. They learned, they got to learn and see a lot of things that we do here, and things that probably they wouldn't have been exposed to had they not been in this office. And I talked to them a little bit about like the financial aspect of it from my client's standpoint, and just to kind of enlighten them about how things, work in this area of law that I practice in.
Yeah.
And it was rewarding for me too, from the standpoint of, when you teach something, and I'm sure you know this working in higher education, it's kind of makes you, it makes you condense things and sharpens your.
Makes you better.
I feel like it made me better to have that experience. So it was rewarding for them because they got to step outside the box. Like these two girls showed up. They both started the same day, and I had it in my head that I was not gonna let them just like sit and be on their phone all day.
Good for you.
Yeah, and I'm like, because I knew that they were gonna show up and they're gonna be doing this for 8 hours, and I'm gonna be like, why are we doing this? So like on that very first day, I had like a little straightening up in our storage area that needed to happen. I put them to work in the heat in that storage room that's not air conditioned.
You get to see all the sides.
And they looked like Legally Blonde, like they were all dressed to the nines. They thought they were going to court or something. I was like, no, we ain't starting in court.
We're going to do the grunt work first. That's good.
But
that's
by
good
the
stuff.
end of it, though, they ended up having so much fun, and I had fun. I had fun with them too.
Yeah.
So
that you bring up an interesting thought with the social media. I mean, do you notice that young people they cannot connect? The awkwardness. I mean, I can remember going to school and like the school dance or something. Everybody stares at the wall or their toes. And now they don't have any of that, those awkward pauses. It's like, okay, well, how do I get out and go meet this person or do that? You just pick up your phone. It's like a crutch.
Yeah.
It's like you just don't.
And
it's hard to put yourself out there.
I'm 39 years old.
Yeah.
I recently am talking to another lawyer that I'm interested in bringing onto the firm. And this person is in her 20s. Okay. And she, like, I call her and she doesn't answer the phone, but then she texts.
Yeah.
It's like people don't want to talk on the phone.
Yes.
I don't know what that's about.
I don't know
when
what
did
that's
that
about.
happen?
I don't know. Now, I will say that I have been guilty of that sometimes because I'm in a meeting.
Busy.
Yeah, I'm in a meeting, or when I was physician liaison, if I were somewhere with the physician, I wouldn't pick up the phone. But the text, I'm like, I can text you immediately and I can get with you. But I don't know. I think it's the awkwardness.
It's the younger
It is.
folks.
It is. It's what if there's? I think they're afraid of that face-to-face interaction. It's not even face-to-face, but just like the live
on the spot.
chat. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are they going to ask me? This is.
Yeah.
It's an interview. What if I mess up the interview? It's part of learning is failure. I mean, how many times do you mess up something before you get it right? They just don't socially. It seems like we don't allow our kids to mess up socially, where you can be there and correct them. Okay, so you put your foot in your mouth. You're not going to do it again. You can't hide behind text and social media forever. I mean, that's the only way you're going to evolve.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Whenever you walked in somewhere, I can remember as a kid, it's like, oh God, I really should have said that. Why'd I say that? Or just, some dumb flub.
No, you're right.
How do you rebound from it? You just do. You just keep rolling.
Keep going.
Yeah, that was stupid. I shouldn't have said that. And then you just keep on going. Now I think it lives. They're under such a microscope that they're afraid to mess up.
So Warren Buffett talks about this thing that he finds in highly successful people that many of them have had a paper route or the paper route equivalent. Mm-hmm. And I have a similar philosophy, but about waiting tables. That's why I named this podcast Waiting Tables. I feel like I learned how to do this.
Yeah.
Taking care of people at a restaurant. Like, would you like
conflict resolution?
Sweet or unsweet tea? You know, like
yeah.
Like you have to get to you got to get to the finish line. There's a goal. The goal is to get fed.
Yeah.
And
have a good experience.
You got to have a good experience.
And you're part of that.
Yeah, and it's an important part of that.
That's right. Both of my boys waited tables in college.
Oh, really?
Yeah, one worked at Trios. He helped open Trios in Ruston.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yep. And then the other one worked at Jinsei. He went to Ole Miss. So it was like a super busy, hopping
I don't know what Jinsei
restaurant.
is.
It's really good. It said it's in Oxford, Mississippi.
Okay.
But the guy that owned it also worked there. So if they were low on bus boys, then he would get out and bus a table. I mean, he was a great manager. All the college students loved working with him. Mm-hmm. And like my son had to work out, you start out as a bus boy. Everybody starts out as a bus boy. Yeah. And then you move your way up through the ranks to bartender or waiter, where you get more money if you're a waiter. But they just had he had a hierarchy, and those kids earned it.
That's like the best job.
It really is.
Like you get such a rich experience with all walks of life. Mm-hmm. I mean, even in nice restaurants, like it's not like everybody that comes through there is a gazillionaire,
Nope.
And in middle of the road restaurants, you get gazillionaires in those places.
That's right.
Too. So it's across the board. It is one of the best jobs for a young person is to wait tables anywhere, wherever you can find a job. You're going to make more money doing that than probably any other job you can find.
100%. I mean, and you can't have this crutch with you all the time. I mean, I know Hank, whenever I would try to reach out to him, if he was working, he would not even pick up his phone. I wouldn't hear from him until after his shift. And he's like, we can't use our phones. And he said, I can check it when I go to the bathroom, maybe. But, if he knew, like when I would come into town, I'd let him know how close I was. And he's like, I'll check it whenever we get a break. But I can't check it until after my shift's over. Not really. Can't talk to you until after my shift's over, which is good. I mean, it's good. They learn not to just live in that thing all the time.
So
it's a blessing and a curse.
Board of Regents.
Yes.
There's some recent news I saw. There was some correspondence that the governor had issued to who did he issue? He sent a letter.
There was a letter that went out from the federal Department of Education, say that they were going to look into Louisiana for DEI, still having DEI. As you know, under the Trump administration and under this new legislators, we did away with all DEI in schools. The prior administration had a lot of DEI in everything.
DEI, like
diversity, equity, and inclusion. So
that sounds like a wonderful concept.
It does. It does. I think it was. I think in some areas it was abused. Which way? Which I mean, do we want to know about?
No, and
Yeah.
I'm saying it sounded like diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Yeah.
Sound very like a virtuous
Yes.
thing.
There was a little blurb that was in the old funding formula that was passed back in, I think, 2019. Not sure when the old funding formula was. I think 2019. I should know this because I've looked at it so much. That excluded white males and Asians, and we're gonna look at all of the information on these students, but we're gonna exclude white males and Asians. Can't do that. I mean, you got to include everybody. That was sent to the secretary. Now that's since been scrubbed, and we are going off merit. How do we raise kids up so that they're at the level that they need to be in? The focuses that we're looking at right now is rewarding colleges for outcomes. How many students can you get in and get completed?
I love that.
Because that's important. How many students can what are some of your degrees of higher earning that we could move them along through? Also, your degrees that may not pay a lot, but my gosh, we need them. Phlebotomists, CNAs. There's a whole list of degrees and programs that we need, from the LCTCS, which is your old trade schools, and all the way to the 4-year degrees, for everywhere from bachelor's to beyond. And the new let's see, was my brain's freaking out right now. The master plan. Thank you. The old master plan had some of the DEI components in it. The new master plan is more focused on workforce. How do we get kids from K-12 all the way through college into the workforce? How do we create a path? We're rewarding that. Before we weren't giving credit to LCTCS for their skills, for their HVAC classes. They were only 18 months. So whenever you don't weight these things in the funding formula, those schools aren't getting paid. Regents distributes the money by looking at a funding formula. The DEI component was in the funding formula, and it rewarded some schools disproportionately. And we have since gotten all of that out. Starting last year, we started moving a lot of this stuff through long before this last little headline came out. Actually, that was an article that was brought up, I want to say in October, probably before that, the first DEI article. But it came out because somebody found it in old HB1, and it was under prior administration, had nothing to do with the people that are there now, myself included, and trying to get things changed and move forward. As soon as all of those mandates were put out that we're doing away with DEI, we got back on track to trying to get kids educated into careers, which is what it should be. Those changes were made in 25. And we're starting to see the funding formula will be run this year. We're starting to see some different priorities in education, which they really do need to be there.
I like what you said about funding outcomes.
You need to fund outcomes.
Because, in my business, and I mean, I'm just one example of, there's other ways of skinning the cat, but this is the way my business works is I don't receive a dime from anybody
Until you do your job.
until I collect, until I do the job that I was hired to do.
That's right.
And it keeps me accountable. It makes it just makes everything work.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it all works. And it's amazing. Like, I do the job, I do what I'm supposed to do, and everybody's suddenly happy.
Yeah.
They may not be happy along the way, and I may not be happy along the way. I might have to work, might have to do something that's difficult or challenging, or prepare or get ready to do something that's challenging, or try a case.
And if you don't, there's an accountability metric behind there.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to get another client. You're going to have bad word of mouth. I mean, there's always an accountability metric. I think we've tried to make education in schools such a safe space that we've forgotten that
to hold people accountable.
Yeah. And that, again, failure, you learn from it. It helps you grow.
Mm-hmm.
If I want to be the very best attorney that I want to be, I'm going to have to learn from my mistakes so I can right that ship and keep going forward. I mean, we need to allow and teach that more in schools too. I think that prepares kids. And colleges that do it well, they should get rewarded for it.
What about healthcare? You have a business related in healthcare. I don't know anything about
so
that.
whenever I got put on the board of regents as chair, I was working with Affinity at the time as their physician recruiter. It was bought out by Baton Rouge Clinic, and they wanted to keep me on, but I said I'm going to be an HR nightmare. Why don't we just do a consulting basis? Okay. So I still work for BRC as a consultant. So when they need when we're recruiting docs, which they're not for up here right now, I would help with that. When we have legislation that's coming through, I help with that. I try to help them get linked in with the community. What are some of the community needs? Right now, we're trying to figure out how to reach more businesses. So if you guys need some health screenings and things like that, I might know somebody. So,
okay.
You just try to link in business and just try to drive business to Baton Rouge Clinic. Kind of the same, kind of a marriage of the two things that I was doing when I was at St. Francis and also at Affinity.
Okay. And so, are you dealing with like primary care or like
all of it? I mean, it depends on the specialty.
Specialties?
Yes.
Like what kind of specialties?
Oh, we need some. We need more specialists up here. But since Baton Rouge Clinic does not have a hospital, when we hire specialists, we can hire them and they can go work at any hospital that they want to. So, for instance, if we don't do ortho, but if we hired an ortho, he could have privileges at St. Francis, Glenwood, Ochsner, wherever he can get the business. Mm-hmm. What we try to do is get business to those physicians. We have panels. Gosh, healthcare is such an animal to eat in a few minutes. Everything's driven by referrals, it seems like now. Mm-hmm. And you have the way Baton Rouge Clinic hires is you act as an independent practitioner and you eat what you kill. However many patients you have come in, that's what you get paid for off of a metric, kind of like the funding formula in higher ed. We want to drive as many patients to that physician as possible. And since they're independent, there's really not a competition.
Yeah.
It's not like you can only go to St. Francis doctors. You can only go to Ochsner doctors. You can come to us from anywhere, and we'll see you. The same plane. If they want to go see if they want to do their surgeries at a certain hospital, it's not like they have to have the referral path that you would if you were employed by that hospital. We don't need to lose our independent physicians.
Well, it seems like to me, I
like to be an advocate for the independent physicians because we need them.
Well, and I think so too. I'm the biggest advocate for physicians across the board, across all specialties.
Yeah.
And for me, like I feel like in my business, I deal with physicians all the time. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I bet you do. Yeah.
I mean, and I don't do med mal stuff. Like, I'm not saying there's not a place for that. It's just not
that's not your thing.
I'm not interested in it. It's not something that I do. But I am an advocate for people that are injured that are typically receiving treatment from orthopedic surgeon, neurosurgeons. One thing that I noticed we don't have a lot of is neurologists. It'd be great if we had a neurologist.
Shortage neurology, urology, dermatology, ENTs. That's probably my four. That was the four biggest ones.
Yeah. And it seems like all the ENTs are retiring and Larry Dana died, locally
I know.
here. But all those
important.
guys, they had their own independent shop. Mm-hmm. And now it seems like it's all just getting sucked up by like a hedge fund or something.
Well, it's private equity. But a lot of it is it's so difficult to get reimbursement and payment. That's why a lot of physicians like to go to an employment model. Mm-hmm. So they don't have to worry with all the books. There's somebody there that does credentialing. When Blue Cross or whomever changes up in October of what they're going to see or what they're going to cover, there's a person that's dedicated there to understand that, where a physician can just come in and put on their coat and their stethoscope and go to work, get to seeing patients. Now there's a lot of, you have a MyChart? Do you have a MyChart for your health?
I know what it is, but I don't use it.
Yeah. That was all predicated by the Epic whenever they started doing electronic billing. Mm-hmm. So there was a way that you could put in the physician could put on all their notes and they could put in all their stuff, so it made it more seamless with billing. That has since grown. So now your MRIs, your blood work, all of your medical information and the physician notes are put into the Epic system, which you can then pull up and read in your MyChart. If you go from Monroe to your primary care physician, all the way to Baton Rouge to a specialist, those notes are automatic. So that physician can pull up your MyChart and have everything.
Have
So
the benefit of your
Yeah.
other encounters with different
yes,
providers.
used to you'd have to go to the office and get your file and carry it to the specialist. Now that's really made the world.
Smaller.
Yeah, it has. As far as medicine, it definitely makes things more seamless. And it helps your independent physicians. Not all of them can afford to get on the Epic system though, because it's very expensive. So there is some legislation. I think there's some money that's coming in through LDH that they're going to try to have a arm of the Epic system in the MyChart that would actually be able to be offered to independents. Because like we were talking about earlier with electricians, you may want to go out on your own, but there's a component to that that's more costly. One of the things is this electronic billing system, but we're trying to close that gap a little bit too.
I've had some conversations with providers that it sounds like to me there's like insurance rate reimbursements are like going down, and it's like for some reason I don't know what exactly the deal is, but it's like premiums are going up, and then but what the physicians are getting paid is going down.
Been happening. That's been kind of happening for a while. I mean, let's face it, we're Louisiana. We're a horribly unhealthy state. We have great food though. When I used to recruit cardiologists, I'm like, you're gonna be real busy here because everybody's got high blood pressure, everybody's got high cholesterol. Most people, too many people are overweight, and that takes a toll on your insurance. That takes a toll on our society and the cost of health care. So splitting that out, and it's gotten to be such an animal. Again, whenever I was first started out in pharmaceuticals, there were not that many PBMs with all of your prescriptions. I mean, the doctor got to write what he wanted to write.
Yeah.
And if it didn't work for you, you would say, hey, this gave me headaches, or this gave me upset stomach, whatever. He's like, well, that's fine. Here, I'll give you this one. And guess what? It was covered. Now it's like, okay, well, is it on your plan? You have to pay extra for it. You have to jump through all these hoops. I think we've gone backward in, I guess, the intent to help healthcare and get everyone covered. It's almost like we've gone backward and made it entirely too complicated. It should just be physician is able to practice medicine without having to do so defensively. Now, I know there's some that have ill intent, but it's called the practice of medicine, not ill intent, but they need a little work. It's called the practice of medicine for a reason. The first drug I give you may not work. And you know what? Your body's different than mine. May work great for me, may work great for 70% of his patients, but you were the one that it didn't work as well on. And we keep penalizing our physicians for that. And I don't know how you wind that clock backwards.
Yeah.
That's a beast.
I go back to, what the thing that I keyed in on that you said was outcomes.
Yeah.
And it's like, let's reward the providers that have
good outcomes.
fewer bad outcomes and more good outcomes.
Yes.
And
that could be easier with surgeons. But for instance, there was a metric when I was at one of the institutions that I worked at, that if you had, let's say, heart surgery, that patient needed to leave with beta blocker, ACE inhibitor, cholesterol med, and something else. So what if that patient already had low blood pressure? Computer tells you have to have all this, and your outcomes are measured by all of these things. But a beta blocker is going to lower your blood pressure, and you're going to be dizzy all the time. You're not going to feel great. It doesn't always allow for that. There's always that outlier that makes it difficult. I mean, again, it's an outlier. It's probably a smaller percentage, but still, that doctor's got to wear that ding for that.
yeah. Well,
The computer told me I had to do it. I knew the patient had low blood pressure, but how do you get around these things?
Well, and I mean, at some point, I mean, like it's the physician that went to med school and residency and all that. They got to be the guy that stands behind the decision to do whatever, whether the computer
They don't
suggests
teach
it or
all that in
not.
school anymore either. You've got a lot of rule followers, and again, it's the practice of medicine, and that's just one. That's just one example. I
Yeah.
mean, what about your engineers? I mean, what about you get to use your brain and problem solve, and come up and be, good old fashioned ingenuity. I don't think we reward that enough. I
Yeah.
think we've gotten to be a little too litigious, and you have to do things a certain way, and box checkers, and we don't make as many things as what we used to. I mean, just think of all the things that we have invented in our nation and how that came about. Wasn't necessarily by following everything to
The
the
way
T.
that I mean, like, you
What's the death of any organization? That's the way we've always done it.
yeah.
I mean,
And then you follow the beaten
How do you
path. It's a
reward
beaten
that?
path. Sometimes it's a beaten path for a reason, but sometimes there's a new path that could be better.
that's right.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
we should allow for that.
I agree.
That goes back to colleges. I mean, how are you measuring those outcomes?
Mm-hmm.
Well, with colleges, it's going to be about grads, but I would love to see us look later at rewarding colleges that not only create graduated students, but did they stay in the state of Louisiana? Were certain firms looking for, this kid came from ULM? Everybody I've hired from ULM is really great. I think I'm gonna, if I'm looking at a resume, this ULM student is gonna
bias
have an
towards ULM.
advantage. Yeah.
Yeah.
And why would that be? It's like, how do we have a series of fair accountability and metrics that equate to outcomes that we could measure our colleges with, or school as a whole?
Another statistic that I
Figure
heard.
is fair.
It's fair.
What is fair?
What is
What
fair?
is fair? I know. What is fair?
Is it fair if you have a good rapport with your teacher and you maybe get a little bit of an edge whenever the crunch time comes and the grades are administered?
But you get so mired down in the minutia, and nothing gets done.
Yeah.
That's the part.
You just gotta roll.
You just gotta
You just
roll.
gotta keep rolling,
You do.
man.
You know? My kids have bad teachers. I'm like, guess what? You're gonna have bad bosses. Figure it out.
Figure out how to win over that one that you hate.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You're going to have a bad table when you're waiting tables. That you're going to have this one over here that you want to go fill their tea up every time they take a drink because they're so pleasant, and you're going to have these over here they want to die of thirst. I don't know, but you got to figure it out. You got to strike the balance and figure it out.
Yeah, and you gotta have the awareness of reading the situation. I mean,
Yes.
sometimes people they're just not ever gonna like you, and that's
And sometimes they could have had a bad day,
that too.
and you're being kind and attentive could be the bright spot in their really crappy day.
Mm-hmm.
You just never know. But yeah, you learn how to read the room, and you learn how to recognize.
roll through it. Just do what you can do and roll on.
Because stopping's not an option. You go hang up your apron and go home. Nope.
Sit there, go to the safe room and
Yeah.
get your
Go get your Snuggie.
cry.
Yeah. No, nobody. There's no crying in waiting tables. No crying in baseball. Suck it up, man. You're gonna live. It's not gonna kill you. It's not
Yeah.
gonna kill you.
No. Well, but going to the outcomes thing though, that's why you have you look at big numbers and you look at, I mean, I would think, yeah. And I was talking with somebody else about this too. It's like, yeah, I don't know if you're familiar with the No Surprises Act. It's federal legislation that deals with insurance billing.
Yes.
And it created this IDR process.
You can get a quote.
Well, you can get a physician, a provider,
Yeah.
can go through an arbitration process if they provided treatment in particular circumstances. The biggest, most obvious one is if it's a call encounter with a patient that's out of network, like an emergency call or emergency. Say you have somebody breaks their hip and they need emergency hip surgery with an orthopedist, and the orthopedist that's there is maybe he's an employee of the hospital, maybe he's not. But if it's an out-of-network encounter, then the charges that physician encounter or
His
the
billing.
the billing will, with the out-of-network deal, they typically will either ignore the bill,
Yeah.
and they'll send an EOB to the patient and the provider that basically says this is what they're paying, or they're not paying anything, or they'll pay like a very small amount, like a minimum, like
The patient would pay the physician a small amount.
the insurer,
Insurance. Oh, yeah.
the private insurance.
Yeah.
And so in those situations, the provider actually can avail himself through the No Surprises Act or federal IDR to a dispute resolution process. Involves requesting an arbitrator be appointed to review the matter and to fix the bill. And there's a negotiation
So
period.
they would get paid a fair price.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So they would get paid that in accordance with what the circumstances.
They would get paid for their service
Yeah.
at the cost of the service versus
And everything
getting a surprise.
Yeah,
no
everything's looked at,
surprises. Yeah.
including the outcome.
Yeah.
You know, and to me, I just think that's. And the other part about it,
Why does there have to be legislation for that, though?
because we have legislation that requires everybody
No, I
to get
mean,
health insurance.
I get it. No,
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's good that we have that. But I mean, gosh, we should really do better.
Well,
You should pay a physician for the work that he's done. But that's where I was getting at earlier with healthcare. It's gotten so muddled. Man, it used to be you pay a person for the service they provided. Now it's got there's so much minutia in the middle of all of it. It's not just easy for a physician anymore to go hang his coat up or go put his coat on and a stethoscope and go to work, which takes us back to what we were talking about earlier, why so many physicians choose to be employed, because they're going to have they're not going to have to leave the clinic. They're going to have somebody that's there working under, the group that they're working under, that's going to handle all that arbitration. It's gotten so complicated where it should not be so complicated. But I like that, like what you're talking about. I think that's a good bill. It's certainly going to help the physician.
Well,
it just doesn't save them any time.
It passed in 2023, and it's only been around because it went into effect in 24, so it's only been around for 2 years, and it's really undersubscribed.
I was about to say, how many of your independent doctors know to go
They
look
don't
for
even
that?
know about this.
They don't.
I've been having conversations because I'm like, I want to get into this. I
Yeah.
think it's an amazing
Yeah.
opportunity for the provider too.
Absolutely.
And it's like, if you look at it, nobody even knows about it. And then the reimbursement rates are going
Yep.
down. The premiums are going up.
Yep.
You know, there's like a 30-40% increase in premiums for people that are paying for health insurance across the board right now. And it's just like,
And they're so busy, they probably don't know about it. I mean, that's what I felt like I was a resource as a pharmaceutical rep, because back in the day, I mean, I could read everything from the package insert, you know, when you go get your Tylenol, that wad of paper that comes out of it. I used to have
That
to
no one reads.
I used to have to give details off of that. I would have to detail off the package insert. I had to know how to read a study. We had to know how to, you know, of course, go over our SLIC. But the SLICs were that was sales and marketing. I had a physician that really wanted to get into the science of the drug. You would need to talk some science to them. And I felt like I was able to provide a resource to that physician because we actually came in and we educated. Because during the day, he doesn't have time. He's seeing patients. He's doing his call, going to go home and try to spend time with family. When are they going to have time to learn about something that's new on the market?
Yeah.
Or if they had heard something bad about it, because your competitors are always coming in talking trash about your stuff, how do you dispel it? So, I mean, I felt like we did truly provide a resource to the physicians in order to do that. I had 5 minutes to go back there and tell them what they needed to know.
Yeah.
And then leave some samples behind and then get feedback on them. You know, if they had a patient that had an interaction, or if they had a patient that couldn't afford their meds, we could get coupons. We could do things for them. But
Well, and the affordability of healthcare is, it's ultimately
it hadn't gone down much for physicians. I think Oh, this was a few years back. It was a doctor we were recruiting, general surgeon, malpractice insurance alone with the group rate. I want to say it was like $75,000 a year. It's just a carrier insurance. That's a big chunk.
What's amazing is they really don't have very much liability. Like, they don't get sued that often. I know this. And they also don't lose when they do get sued. Like,
With the independent
to me, it's
or
like
with
a
the
scam.
employed physician? Yeah.
Any of them.
Yeah.
Any of them. I'm talking about
You would know more about that side than I would.
I'm saying
I just know how much
physicians
it
don't
costs.
lose. Physicians don't lose. And I'm not saying that it shouldn't. I'm not saying that they don't deserve some protections.
Yeah.
But they're the most protected contracting business that you can be in. I mean, I don't have those protections. You don't have those.
But
An
there's
electrician doesn't have those protections.
so much training on the
There's
front
no
end.
limits to my liability, and I'm not saying there should be.
Yeah.
Like, but physicians have limits to their
That's part of their
liability.
grading scale, though. You know, how you treat a patient, just like what I was talking about earlier with the heart surgery. You have to send them home on these 4 drugs, and if you don't, you're going to get dinged.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not able to practice medicine. I mean, they are, but I mean, it's still rewarding. It's definitely a rewarding career. Don't get me wrong, but it's taken away some of the autonomy because there's so many rules that are in there to keep institutions from getting sued. So they're like, you can't do this. You have to do this. You have to go outside at noon and hop on one leg. There's lots of not just guardrails. There's lots of things that physicians have to do now.
Yeah.
Versus just be able to practice. So they shouldn't be they're not allowed to make mistakes anymore.
Well, I mean, I think that's like, I hate to stifle someone's professional creativity with unnecessary rules. But I keep going back to the outcomes thing, like
Outcomes. Yeah.
outcomes, like
It's like school.
regardless of what the rules are.
Yeah.
I mean, follow the rules, don't follow the rules. What are your outcomes? Like, what percentage of cases do you have with a successful outcome? What percentage of cases do you have with a bad outcome? And let's have honest conversations with everybody about that.
There'll always be some sort of extenuating circumstance, but you shouldn't change the rules because of that one thing or that small percentage. You should have everything uniform across the board. If there's something that happens, you deal with it. Mm-hmm. And you, like you said, you keep rolling with it.
The other thing is, and this is what's been in my head, and I'm just I just feel like I have to say this.
Yeah.
So you go to the doctor's office. I actually went to the doctor yesterday. Like, I had got a shot, getting the crud shot or whatever you want to call it.
Sinuses. Everybody's sinuses are going crazy right now.
And I give the desk clerk my insurance card, and she's like, "Do you know what your copay is?" I was like, I don't know anything about it.
Isn't it on that card somewhere?
She's like, "Okay." Well, and I said, "Just send me a bill. I'll pay the bill, or whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do, I'll do. Whatever you need me to do." And but it occurred to me that they're bound by the insurance agreement that they have with my insurer. Okay, and so that means they've got to bill me in accordance with that agreement because I'm one of the chosen few with that insurance company provider or whatever, and they have that agreement, and that's great. That's great. But to me, what's kind of crazy is to me, there should be if there's going to be standardization, it should be standardization with what the insurance companies pay the providers. And then if the provider doesn't exceptionally makes me feel good, makes me want to come back, makes me want to stay a patient of theirs, why can't they charge me beyond, if they've got a waiting room full of people, why can't they increase their rate with, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so standardize, who cares what your insurance is? Insurance company is always going to pay X number of dollars for this particular service. But if you have an agreement with your patient, we're going to bill you X amount of dollars more. And so then there's I don't know. Maybe that
And that
just
may
makes
be
it
where
more,
some of them would go out and decide to become independent. You know,
Yeah.
if you feel like you're getting paid the same amount as your peers and you have a chocked full waiting room every single time, I mean, you'd think that little economics would go in there, supply and demand. Still, though, I mean, you have your population that can only pay so much. They can't afford to pay anything extra. Again, it's complicated. I mean, it's just healthcare is so complicated. It would be great to have a magic bullet to fix all of it, but it's just so many facets to it. It's not just I go in and I see a physician. I'm so happy with my treatment. I go tell all my friends,
Yeah.
and then they're all going to them too. I mean, we all know those doctors. There's quite a few of them around here.
Well, there's a couple of dermatologists that
Yeah.
they're not seeing new people.
They can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can't. But I don't think that they can raise their rates either. They might.
They're stuck.
They are. I mean, if you provided a new service, that's why a lot of them go get into the cosmetic side of it. There's no managed care in cosmetics. Your Botox, you're never going to get your Botox paid for with your managed care card, your insurance card. I tell people all the time, I said, they don't give enough Botox for the looks on my face whenever I see myself on camera. Somebody says something crazy, I'm like, shouldn't have made that face. It comes with subtitles so often.
So tell me about running for Congress. Like, that's
It's
I haven't heard you say that you were like you've held other elected positions, but you have been appointed to things. So
I've been appointed. I mean, I've helped with lots of campaigns. I've had people ask me to run for office. My go-to line was always, heck, I like to support good people. And as long as there's good people in office, I'm going to stay right here and I'll be support however I can. Point me to something, help with fundraisers. I'll help link you with some people in healthcare if you want to write a healthcare bill, education stuff. I'm doing some of that right now still with some of our legislators. You know, you want to write this bill, I'll give you some tips on some things that I see that could make that a little bit better. I love that side of it. I like to be involved. But when Julia decided to run for the Senate seat, the way that the congressional district has been carved up does not look anything like what it used to. And I helped on Dr. Abraham's campaign, I helped on Luke's campaign, and I helped on Julia's as well. Born and raised in CD5. The fact that we were being lumped into Baton Rouge, I said, if somebody from Baton Rouge wins the seat, it's never going to go back to the way it used to. You know, we had that could be a whole other podcast about the DSEG order. But when they redraw those maps, I want to make sure that Northeast Louisiana has somebody here that gets a say, and that needs to be somebody that's serving as the incumbent. So I finally decided to throw my hat in the ring, and that's whenever I pulled the trigger and decided to run.
Wow, that's a courageous step. I mean, that's amazing, and thank you for taking that on. I mean, we need candidates that are,
I feel like
that are going to represent
yeah,
this region.
it's important. We're different.
Mm-hmm.
Education, healthcare, and ag. I mean, that's really what drives us. And even with some of the new district, there's a lot of farmers from everything: loggers, row crop farmers, cattle farmers. I mean, there's just a lot that is going on in this area that's agriculture related, and we need a say for that. We have Meta coming. We've got a lot that we need to get caught up on in education. And I feel like my unique experience that I have that makes me qualified for this position is I've worked in each and every one of those fields. I mean, I've got a working knowledge of each and every one of those those segments. And I know somebody there. I've got some problem solving skills behind me. And I really do think that I could take that and make a difference, bring some stuff back home. And it's not about the title. If I wanted a title, I would have run for something by now. That's not what it's about. It's about coming back and doing something for this community that's impactful.
Right. Wow. Let's say it's your first week in office.
So many things.
Well, let me ask you this. If you could pass a piece of legislation, any federal legislation, what do you think would be of the moment right now? What do you see as a priority?
That's I don't know that I could come up with that in like a 5-minute question. Education, definitely, because education is the rising tide that lifts all boats. But that's complicated because right now, I met with Secretary McMahon the last time she came in town. He basically told her that he's hiring her to work herself out of a job. So does federal government do education better than your individual states? I don't know. You have states' rights. You had a lot of federal funding that goes into each and every state. So how does that impact how the autonomy that you have in being able to run education? Do you have to have put so much federal wording? That's how the DEI component got in there in the first place. All these federal grants that are linked. Do you have any experience in grant writing?
I've never written a grant. I mean, I understand what a grant is.
Yeah,
and
or
it's
grading
basically
grants.
an application for funds.
Yes. So I got put on a task force with LDH, and we had to look at some grants. So that was kind of like my maiden voyage with that. But you had a certain grant that was being written, and you have these 10 components. Does it hit items 1 through 10? Well, the people writing the grant also know that we're looking for item 1 through 10. So that is written out with all those 10 components hit. So just think about what that does when you're having to ask money from the feds. And some of the DEI stuff is what they're pushing. They're going to have to write, whenever they're requesting money from the federal government, they're going to have a component in there. Is that really helping? I mean, are we better for it? If I have to play the game in order to get this grant, is that really going to be what? At the end of the day, is it going to make us better? Is this the state's push, something that the state needs, or is this something that the feds are trying to push on our state? Mm-hmm. And that, I don't know how you work that into a bill. Again, that's very complicated. There's so many things spinning in my head that I would like to fix right now. I don't know that I could just pick one. Farm bills, trying to help our farmers.
What do you see?
That's gotten very complicated too.
I'm very unfamiliar with anything agricultural, farming related, or what the issues are.
I got a question the other day on tariffs. I'll just give you an example, and my answer was, and I was caught off guard, is that we're trying to play the long game. You know, let Trump do what he's doing with the tariffs. It may hurt for a second, but at the end of the day, we're trying to play the long game, and it's about fairness. You know, if we export, import, all that should be fair. Our farmers should get paid, much like you were talking about with physicians. They should get paid a fair price for their crops. And that should not change by any foreign entities. And that's just one of the many aspects of ag and with the tariff situation. Did that answer your question? It kind of went around in a circle.
No, well, I mean,
my brain is like it's like a dog with a rabbit. Chasing down all kinds of stuff.
I do, the tariff thing is definitely like, it's obviously with the Supreme Court recent decision, basically striking down a bunch of the tariffs that I guess President Trump enacted.
But is it really? You think that's really going to stop the charge on the tariffs? The Supreme Court's ruling. What is your thought about the Supreme Court ruling?
Well, I listened to the State of the Union the other night, and I mean, President Trump seemed to indicate that he had some other ways to, by executive order, enact these tariffs or keep these tariffs rolling or whatever. But ultimately, I mean, it would be interesting, and like, I mean, and I'm not sure. Like, I kind of like the idea that our leader can create a situation that they have to negotiate around.
He's responsible for the economic impact of our nation, be it good or bad. I mean, at the end of the day, when they go back and look at what he's done, that's going to be on his shoulders.
Let's look at his outcome.
Yeah. So why not let him have a little autonomy?
I mean, he should. I mean,
he should.
Yeah, he should have some autonomy. Just like whenever somebody else is in office, they should have some autonomy.
Yeah.
But I mean,
well, you go back and look at that
tariffs
presidency.
Is inappropriate. I don't know what, I'm not a constitutional scholar.
Yeah.
So I probably should have read up on the. There's
some nuances there that that doesn't go along with the Constitution.
But from a business
Unconstitutional.
standpoint,
Yeah.
I see it as like Trump's doing this wild man, negotiation thing. And I think there's something to that.
He's also a businessman.
Yeah.
So he's not a politician, which is one of the things sometimes we get, again, so mired down in the minutia of this legislation, that legislation. What about what works in business? I think he's playing he's playing the long game. He's realizing from his business experience in negotiations, look, we need to have a little bit of teeth in the game where imports and exports are. Why should we just always kowtow to other countries for whatever reason? Why can't we ask for a fair price? I mean, why are we the bad guy for asking for a fair price? And if you're going to charge us taxes whenever we import stuff to you, then we have the choice of doing the same thing on the flip side. Why is that bad?
Yeah. No, I'm with that.
But I think it's because he came in as a businessman, not a politician, that he actually tries to come in and solve problems versus, I mean, how many times have you seen legislation that's passed that goes nowhere? I mean, it looks good. It's a great soundbite.
I mean,
but what the heck does it do?
It's basically somebody's plank in their platform.
Yes, that's it. And I think we've had so many years of that, and then so many years of people that weren't willing to say, that's a dumb piece of legislation. That's one of the things about Trump. He says what he thinks. That we've just, I don't think we've moved our nation forward.
Yeah.
I think we've gone backward.
I definitely feel like we've gone backward in healthcare.
We've gone backward in healthcare.
Like as a nation.
What do we
not
make
just
in the nation anymore? I mean, we don't have steel mills anymore. We don't have manufacturing's gone by the wayside. We're not celebrating trades. I know in colleges, I mean, in K-12, so often your guidance counselor is trying to put you on a career path to college. Why aren't they pushing trades? I don't know.
What about our population growth situation? So birth rates.
Contributed to what? Like birth rates or people coming in?
Birth rates are on the decline.
They are.
And so I think at this exact moment in time, we still are a growing population. But based upon the trend, like in the next 20 years, we'll be a declining population by the numbers, meaning more people are going to die.
Look at what that's doing
than
to
are
China
born.
right now.
Say that again?
Look what that's doing to China right now. What is their birth rate? Is it under one child? I think it's under one.
The one
now.
child policy drastically, severely
Yeah.
has put China in a horrible economic position.
They have a large population of people, but the one child policy, they don't have enough workers. They have no ag. I don't think that they're able to grow anything there. They import everything. That's not a situation we want to be in. That's when you like your freedoms and your constitutional freedoms that you have, and why we should work as hard as we can to protect those. They're very important.
I mean, how do we get families? Because I think it's I don't think this is controversial. And like my hats off to the single moms out there.
True. Yeah.
But families do a better job raising kids.
That's right.
Like husband and wife, mother and father.
The good old-fashioned nuclear family, yes.
And those barely exist now.
It does.
So, and I don't see anything. It does feel like there's a resurgence of faith and, I don't want to say religion, but I feel like there is I feel like more people are more interested in going to church and interested in like scripture today than maybe even 5 years ago or 10 years ago.
I can definitely see that. And, that's also, I mean, like it or not, I think I've seen a rise in patriotism, again, since Trump's been in. Also a rise of people looking at faith and family. It's less, we're more in an era of how do we get better versus how do we not be a victim. And I like that. I like that approach. I think that that's something that's going to make us stronger again, as a nation, let's look at the things that make us better. Family, nuclear family, it makes us better.
I don't care whether you're black or white
Doesn't
or
matter.
Asian or
That is
whatever.
all encompassing.
Families do it better.
A dad in home that's gonna tell a daughter, you're not going out of the house in that, or a son, you don't talk to your mom that way. I mean, just that type of correction that's lovingly done in a home. Because the world, when you get out in the world, that there's no guarantee that somebody loves you that's going to correct you out in society. You need to have that at home. It prepares a kid, just like school, prepares a kid to go out and be able to be an upstanding member of society and do well. And you set them on a path to success. Without that, I mean, we're setting our kids up for failure. And there's no amount of safe spaces that are going to fix the root of the problem.
I think you're exactly right. Thank you for coming in. I really appreciate you spending the time here. And
Yeah.
I'm excited to see how your campaign goes.
Thank
and
you.
I wish you all the best. And
Thank
thank
you.
you for stepping up to represent Northeast Louisiana.
Happy to do it. Happy to do it. It's odd being the candidate versus just helping with a campaign. So I just have to kind of block all that out of my mind and say, it's just another campaign. It's just another campaign I'm working on. It just happens to be mine. But it's good. Thank you for having me today. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the conversation.
Well, thank you very much.
Please tell Cassie and Martin and Misty hello.
I will do it.